Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're doing our regular 5 p.m. Pacific time Q&A, taking your questions about U.S. immigration law, providing general kind of immigration questions, not case-specific stuff, just general kind of stuff that can help you out to better understand what's going on in this amazingly complex world of U.S. immigration. Before we start, I want to remind everybody that there is the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. If you're looking for a marriage or fiance kind of case and you're trying to wrap your head around what's going on, you're going to find this free guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It's the best one you're going to find out there, and it's free too. It breaks down stuff. You're going to get it. Please download it, take a look. You'll be amazed at what is out there, what kind of information that's out there to help you. And if you wanted more information, then we can schedule a consultation after you read the book and discover the strategies and how everything works in this kind of system. Also, to add to that, we do free consultation giveaways, 15-minute free video consultation giveaways for an episode right now. Just that you need to do every 10 minutes. My associate will remind me to read off somebody's name to do it. And how to get your name on the list you read off? Well, you have to like, subscribe, and put a comment like consultation wherever you're watching it. And that way you'll get the attention of my associate Kayla, and she'll announce every 10 minutes one person who's won. Once you've been chosen, you have to take a screenshot of the social media site you're on, so I can see it's really your account from there. And then I want you to then email me with that and let me know. We'll schedule a video consultation to get into your case. So with that, let's get it started. All right, so we're starting off. Marlon, thank you so much for coming on. Marlon's one of the regulars. Now, what's going on in the world of education, in the world of immigration? There's a lot of changes happening. Some of them are related to asylum law, some related to immigration court. These are things I don't typically handle myself, so I'm going to focus on those. But there are major changes that are happening. The Attorney General's changed stuff up. So there's good stuff. On the bad end, the delays are still there. So when it comes to consular processing and work permits. So I can't take questions about timelines and stuff like that. It won't be possible. But the embassies have slowed down dramatically, and they still are for most places. Employment authorization is taking a while, as advanced parole. But for the most part, if you're in the United States, do your green card interview, those are somewhat speeding up and coming normal, especially for marriage type cases. So that is some positive news. So let's take our first question. Anastasia asks, what does the priority date have to do with Child Status Protection Act? So let's back that up. And what is CSPA, the Child Status Protection Act? When you're doing a green card case, the person getting a green card, the people that can be included on a green card many times are their spouse and minor children, a 21-year age cutoff. Well, what happens if the child's over 21? It's not fair, because the case might have been pending for years, and then by the time it's ready to be given the green card, because the case is finally approved, the child may be over 21. So they created this law maybe like 20 years ago that said, when you start the case, usually it's Form I-130 in a family case, and you get a priority date. That's the date that your case started. And then eventually a case gets approved. The I-130 petition does in this example for family-based cases. The time it took, which is a priority date, to get the case started until the date that the case is approved, let's say it took 2 years for the case to be approved, you can subtract that from the age of the child, so that may bring them under 21. So if the child was 12 when you started the case, the I-130 petition, and when they're 14 is approved, you could deduct those 2 years from the age. It'll still make them 12. Not a big deal. But if they're 19 and a half, 2 years go by, all of a sudden they're 21 and a half, they're past the age, they can still back it up 2 years and go under 21. Now, that's a very simplistic way of showing and going through it. There's requirements that you apply in the right amount of time, and you submit certain documents and all this kind of stuff. But that's a very simplistic version of the Child Status Protection Act in a family-based context. So here the question is, what does the priority date have to do with it? Well, the priority date, or really the date that you submit the application, is the date you start for the mathematical calculation, and the date that the initial petition is approved for I-130, for example. That timeline can be subtracted from the child's age, and then the case has to, you have to contact the next step in appropriate fashion. That gets more complicated. We're not going to do that here, but I hope that information helped Anastasia. All right, Muhammad asks, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm applying for my wife and daughter in February 2021, but I still in review. How long take approval? Well, there's no timelines of how it takes, but one thing that's very important that people don't know this, if you're a U.S. citizen and you have a spouse and you have a child, you have to submit 2 separate I-130 petitions for each person. So U.S. citizen can file for their spouse, that's one, but the child does not automatically go on there. You have to do a separate I-130 petition for that. I've seen many times where people think that the child automatically comes in that case, and it doesn't. Now, if you're a green card holder and you file for your spouse, the child will come in. But when you're a U.S. citizen, you have what's called an immediate relative case. and the child does not automatically go there. Now, you applied February 2021. Timelines vary. I don't like getting into timelines because it doesn't make a difference with what I say. It just hopefully gets done sooner. But Muhammad, thanks for your question. Drew regularly asks, hi, sir, how are you doing? I'm doing good. I have a question about marriage-based interview is done. Almost 6 months, no reply of immigration. What is the reason? Well, that's not good at all. At this point, it should be done. If it's gone more than 6 months, either there's a massive failure somewhere going on, or they did not trust your case, and they may be doing some background investigations that could take years sometimes. Drew, did they separate you at the interview, or did you have a second interview that you had to go to? Let me know. But unfortunately, if you've been 6 months, you would definitely need to consult with an attorney. Lawsuit may be needed. If you schedule a consultation in my office, I don't know if I can help you out. I don't do lawsuits. We could talk about it. I'm not sure how helpful I could be, but it's not good. 6 months is too much. So definitely talk with the lawyer and get down to it. Haji asks, can I expedite my EAD application as work permit? I came with the K-1 visa. I got married with my fiance. I have a triplet kids. I need to support them to be eligible to expedite my EAD application. Well, an EAD is a work permit. When you file for adjustment of status, you can submit Form I-765 with the application. And can you expedite it? Well, you could always make a request. Now, if they're going to approve it or not, that's up to them. But you can always make a request. Financial hardship. The Biden administration changed the rules last week to make it a little bit less stringent than what the Trump administration had done. So that's a big positive there. But if you got to do what you got to do. So if you need to make that expedite, you got 3 kids. I understand you, man. It's expensive in the U.S. 3 kids, triplets. It's a lot of work. So do what you can. Contact USCIS. See what you can do to help you out there. Shiva said, can you tell me about EB-3 for other workers? Well, there's not much to tell. There are categories for employment-based green cards that you don't have to have necessarily, a high education or a lot of work experience. The EB-3 category is that. There's many subcategories of the EB-3, but you need to have an employer that's going to sponsor you and it's going to submit all the paperwork and pay the initial fees, do the recruitment and the I-140 petition, and eventually you can file for adjustment of status or consular processing. That's just a short synopsis for the EB-3 visa. User 31 asks, is federal plaza in New York court open now? I don't keep track of every court in the country, so that's a question you can find out. If you go to Department of Justice's website, they list what's open. It probably is, but there's websites for that. It's not the place to ask here. Hussein asks, I filed my I-130 and adjustment of status I-485. It's a family green card case back in 2018. We got our interview in 2020 and my I-130 approved, but they RFE'd the medical examination for I-485. Is that good news or bad news? Well, I don't know, Hussein. So this is 2 case specifics, but I can't advise here. But if you had your interview, you should have brought your updated medical with you or correct medical, and they should have had it there and decided. So if you had your interview already and you submitted your medical, I'm not sure why it's still pending. So, consult with immigration to see what happened. It seems like there's missing information there. Soares asked, I applied for 3 weeks ago. I paid $60 for FAFSA, but still nothing. Well, there's nothing that's $60 in immigration, and I don't know what you applied for. 3 weeks is not much time. So your question, I don't know what's going on, Soares. Doesn't make much sense to me. Can USCIS West ask, could USCIS process 260,000 employment green cards by September 2021? So there's some issues here where USCIS has until the end of the fiscal year, which is September 2021, space to adjudicate hundreds of thousands of green card cases, but they've so backed up and they've been so slow that they're probably not going to be able to. So there's a lot of people that can get a green card if USCIS wasn't so slow, but unfortunately they're going to miss out, and it's going to create more and more backlogs. Maybe even 100,000 people that could have got their employment green card not going to get it because USCIS delays. So it's a very sad situation. There's hundreds of thousands of families that are just going to get hit really hard with more delays, and it's just horrible. So Wes, can they process all of them? Where there's a will, there's a way, but I'm not sure if there's a will. So you got to think about the worst case scenario. That are going to be more delays there. And it says, it follows up, my husband was 19, but he turned 21 months after approval. Does he have a case? Anastasia, I don't know. I have to see what's going on with the case. If he's married, he might be out of the case. You're not supposed to be married, and you won't maintain your single status as a child dependent if you're married. So, Anastasia, there's a lot more review that needs to happen on your case. Definitely consult with an immigration attorney in private. Munda asks, fingerprints are done for adjustment of status. How long is it going to take to get a green card? Well, let's get this question a lot. The biometrics, the fingerprints for any case have nothing at all, zero to do with the issuance of the case. So they're separate things. The biometrics is just an automatic thing. It's scheduled When your green card is going to approve depends on 50 different factors, including what type of green card it is, what kind of case you individually have, what your background is, how busy the field office is, if the post office loses something. So this is an impossible question to answer. Now, before going forward, I want to announce our winner. We do a free 15-minute consultation giveaway every 10 minutes. We start 10 minutes early, so we're doing 4 to people today. Our first winner is Hussein Madrobaki. He liked, subscribed, and took a consultation, and my assistant, Kayla, chose him as the winner. Hussein Madrobaki, thank you so much. Take a screenshot of wherever you're watching this and email it to me at info@jqklaw.com, info@jqklaw.com. And so I see it's your account, and I'll reply with a link for you to schedule the free video consultation. Thank you so much. I look forward to it. Now, before moving forward, I want to have 2 reminders. One is download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide if you're interested in a fiancé or marriage case. It really breaks it all down for you. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And also, we're getting a lot of questions about how long things take and timelines. A lot of people are tuning in now, may not have heard me before, but I don't have answers for these kind of questions. It varies dramatically, and without knowing your individual case in detail, it's not something I can answer here. But let's jump back into it. The next question. Sam asks, I'm afraid of medical examination because I had TB 20 years ago and was treated, and now have negative labs but old x-ray finding. Does that make me inadmissible? So Sam, there's a lot of people across the world who will have false positives on tuberculosis. It's not necessarily an issue. You get tested, they do additional tests to make sure you don't have it, it's not active, and usually it's not a problem. Worse, you get some treatment. So that wouldn't be a reason I'd be worried about. Plus, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, for example, or some places, there's waivers available for it too. I wouldn't be too worried about that. D asks, I filed for adjustment of status in February, but still no biometrics or EAD only receipts. Is it normal? Marriage to a U.S. citizen, enter on visa waiver program and change mine. Okay, so you haven't got the biometrics and you filed in February. That's normal. There's delays in biometrics or EAD. So yeah, again, biometrics, EADs, these are all taking time. You just got to be patient. Though the receipts are not bad, so you got at least your case numbers are. But things are just delayed, so you have to be prepared for that. Love asks, if you're only working your job 1 month, can you still file the affidavit of support for I am the petitioner and my husband, but I need the guidelines? So this is an issue I talk about a lot. I've done a lot of videos on this. So I'll keep it kind of brief here. The main rule is you need to show that you're currently making enough money to support your spouse. However, USCIS has a lot of discretion. They may look into it in more detail and say you're not making enough now. Now, I personally usually submit cases where someone, for the affidavit of support portion of a family case, we need to show that you can support the foreign person. If they just found a job and we have 1 pay stub, I say, hey, here's the job, they're making money. If you need some more proof of pay stubs, just contact us in a couple months or for the interview, and we'll have 4, 5, 6, 10 pay stubs to show that we continuously made this money and haven't had an issue. But I'll talk with a lot of lawyers who will not file a case until a person has had 3 years of 3 years of continuous income on their tax returns, or they force the client to get a joint sponsor. So I'll need to know your finances, why you just got a job recently, all these kind of different information to see how we can respond to USCIS if asked. But if there's uncertainty, finding a joint sponsor is always better. Asking someone to help you on this or take responsibility. It's not a fun thing to do. But that's if you want to be safe, do that. But I would need more information about your work. For example, if you were in medical school and you finally got out and your first job as a doctor making $300,000, yeah, I would have no problem with 1 month pay stub. But if you weren't working and then the first job for a year just because you didn't want to, and then the first job you're getting paid barely enough to meet the affidavit support requirement, then that gets a little tougher because they might not trust that you could afford to support your spouse. So I hope the information helped and you're able to get your spouse in. Yari asks, does daycare, child care in Texas help affect your residency? I don't know. What does that have to do with residency? I don't know what your question really means. Manish asks, how safe is travel to home country using combo card? So a combo card, they mean the work permit along with the advanced parole. The work permit usually has advanced parole on it. If you're doing adjustment of status, how safe is it? Well, it just, it's up to you. It's just so case specific, Manish, that I can't answer that. I don't really know enough about your background, so I just can't answer that question. I don't know what's going on in your specific case. Latoya asks, USCIS received my adjustment of status 64 days ago. How long until I get my biometrics? There is no timetable on that. You just have to be patient. Nana asks, can I remarry my ex-wife? If you like, that's probably a bad decision, I'd say, but if you want to do that, go ahead. Next asks, hi, overstayed ESTA, married a U.S. citizen. USCIS received my case in October 2020. I'm still waiting for biometrics. Yeah, as I've been saying, Biometrics are seriously delayed, unfortunately, so you just have to be patient for that. All right, Soares asks, I applied for a passport 3 weeks ago and I paid $60 for FAFSA, was still nothing. If you go to the Department of State's website for passport, U.S. passport issuance, they have a breakdown of timelines. 3 weeks is normal right now with these delays. If you want it faster, you have to have an emergency reason and contact them a few days before travel, have proof of emergency travel. The website for Department of State has self broken down. 3 weeks is even if you pay the $60 is in a normal time frame that they have. It's on their website. And I'll ask F2A, that's either a spouse or adult or minor child of a green card holder, adjustment of status, need to maintain non-immigrant status through adjustment of status. Okay, so let me break down what this question means. When you're in the United States and you want to file for adjustment of status green card, and it's based on either being married to a green card holder or being a child of a green card holder, you have to maintain continuous lawful status, not have violations, up until the time that you file Form I-485. Now, you can't have other violations, but you need to at least maintain status up until the government accepts your Form I-485, properly file Form I-485. So let's say you came on a student visa, or you came on a tourist visa. When you file Form I-485 adjustment of status, you have to be in status at the time, but you don't have to maintain that status till the very end. Don't violate in other ways, but you can just stay here in the United States under a period of authorized stay. It's not status, but they let you stay until a decision is made, and you don't need to maintain that status. I know this is confusing. There's some bad information out there. Many immigration lawyers I've talked to don't even know this. I talk with them that they think you have to maintain the status till the very end. Now, is it wise to maintain your status till adjustment is finally done? Yes, it is, because I've had cases where someone gets married, files for adjustment of status, quits going to school and abandons their student visa, and then 6-7 months into the process gets in a fight with their spouse, wants to get a divorce. Well, if they get divorced, they're out of status, the case is out, going to get deported. So it's always good to keep backup. Why not? But you have to know you could fall out of status after filing and having your adjustment of status case accepted, and then just stay here, don't do other violations until the case is decided, hopefully approved. Thank you for your question, Anna. Joe T asks, is green card spouse immigration interview are open in Canada, sir? Okay, so you're asking if they're doing immigrant visa interviews for marriage cases. It is open. It's super delayed. They're only doing a few interviews a month in Montreal. Right now, let's see, a 7 or 8 months delay from being documentary qualified on average is what I'm seeing. But it is open. It's just very slow because they're just doing less interviews and there's a huge backlog. But thank you for your question. Shabina asks, hi, F2A, that's the same that I talked about a second ago, spouse or child of a green card holder, documentarily qualified. That means they're doing consular processing, going through the embassy. In the initial step with the National Visa Center, they accepted the documents. They said it's okay. In September 2020, 120 days later in March, what can I expect? Okay, so they're in Guyana. They're getting reminders from the National Visa Center. It's a new thing that the National Visa Center is doing where they're sending reminders every like 60 days saying, we have your case, please wait. And they're asking, when can I expect the interview in Guyana? It's not up to me. It's whenever the embassy in Guyana is ready, they'll just call you in. Paranoid Andrew regular asks, my friend is approved for an O1, that's an extraordinary ability visa to come work in the U.S. until June 2024. But because consulates are backlogged, he won't get his stamp until January 2022. Will the USCIS extend validity to compensate for backlog or not? No, they will not, unfortunately. Under extreme situations, they may give a small amount of time extra in some cases, but I would not rely on that. Unfortunately, they're losing out on time, and it just sucks because they went through this. But yeah, they're not going to give automatic extensions. They will have to file an extension request when the the O1 time that you have is going to expire. About Golf asks, how long does it take to receive a receive notice from USCIS after you submit all your documents? I submitted on May 25th, still not heard back from them. Well, it's interesting. About October until about last month, things have gotten so backed up where it would take sometimes 1 to 3 months to get receipt notices once you submitted something to USCIS, the U.S. Immigration Department. But this month I've been getting adjustment case I-485, I-130s, I-751s. I'm getting receipts like in 7 to 10 days. So it's like amazing that things, and I mentioned this in a group of lawyers, and we're all shocked to say like, it's amazing. We're all excited that the government is processing things on a normal basis on regular time, 7 days or something like that, or just getting it and then it takes 7 days to get the receipt because of postage delays and stuff. But, I guess your case may stuck in the old one that takes months. I don't know. You may have improperly filed and the case might be being returned. So I don't know about that either. Hopefully that's not the case, and just to be patient. But the best way to kind of keep track is if you didn't file Form G1145 to give you notification is to see if they cashed the check that you sent. You don't have to send money orders. You can send personal checks to USCIS, and that's one way to track to see if they have your case and what's going on there. But thank you for your question. Oh, we have to announce our winner. It was just about golf vlogs. I just answered your question. Thank you so much. Take a screenshot of and show that this is your account and email it to me at info@jklaw.com, and we can set up a free 15-minute video consultation. We have 2 more spaces left for these free consultations. If you're just tuning in, if you like, subscribe, and write consultation, my associate will say these names and choose some in the next 10 minutes to win a free video consultation. So at 5:10 right now, it is Pacific time, 5:20. We'll announce person, and we'll do a free 15-minute video consultation to help you out there. Also, a reminder, if you're thinking about doing a marriage or fiance case, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. The best one out there is free. Download it. Even if you're not doing a marriage green card case, download it. You'll see like how much of a nice guy I am to give out this much information. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And the final reminder, I don't have answers to your questions about delays and when this is going to happen. Unfortunately, I just don't have those answers, so I won't be able to answer them. All right, so who's next? Sam Mask, thank you, Mr. John. You gave me a lot of hope. My wife is a diversity visa winner. Congratulations, Sam. I'm trying to find what your original question was. Let me look, because if you're a diversity visa winner, it kind of changes things up because diversity visa has all these kind of rules, and I don't want to scare you, but let's see, what was your question in the first place? We went through so many. Okay, I'm afraid of medical examination. So one thing about if you're getting a green card based on diversity visa lottery, you have to have the case done before the end of September. So if you did your interview and they are, okay, so just do your medical as soon as you can, so you have the results when you can, because you have to have everything done if you're a diversity visa winner. That creates timeline problems. So Sam, thank you for your question. Nano asks, what is the meaning of USCIS is actively reviewing your case and it's almost 2 months? It just means that they're reviewing your case. That's it. Tony asks, I'm so glad I got my citizenship and USA passports. Your videos help, bro. Thanks, bro. Wow, Tony, thank you so much. It's really good to hear that you made a difference and helped you out to help you with your case. God bless you. Thank you so much. If you have the time, go to Google, type in JQK Law and leave a review on Google, 5 stars. You don't have to write anything content-wise, but it'll be appreciated. But that's wonderful, helping another person out and just the person I don't even know, but glad to help. Love follows up. The job I was working for a year and a half made $35 and a salary for a year, but I'm no longer working at that job. Just as this month, in our case of approval, soon I'll find a new job. So I got to see your work history and situation. So we'd have to have a consultation, because if you've been working, it was just a break and you start a new job, it shows you continuously work. So that's probably gonna be fine. But I can't answer that question. It's too case specific. We'd have to just sit down and talk about it. But congrats on the new position and your marriage. Muhammad asks, hi, I'm a husband of a U.S. citizen who just became a citizen. So when can I apply for citizenship? Should I wait until she is 2 years and 9 months citizen? When you're a green card holder, you can file for U.S. citizenship 5 years after getting a green card. But if you've been married and living with a citizen for 3 years, you can file that time. If your spouse just became, Muhammad, as a green card, spouse just became a citizen, you have to wait for there to be living with them for 3 years and getting citizenship, maybe 2 years, 9 months. I'm not sure how strict that is. But probably if they just became a citizen, by the time the 3-year mark happens, it's probably gonna be 5 years anyway. So I'd have to see the timetables in your case. I can't just say a case-specific guidance like that. But most likely, it's not gonna make a difference in your case. You can just follow your normal 5-year period because it's already been that long. But I would need to have a consultation. 29C, one of our regulars asked, hi, Attorney John, saying hi, good to see you. Any updates on immigrant visa backlogs? Yeah, it's horrible, horrible, horrible backlog. So we talked a little bit about the employment-based cases. Usually the NBC has maybe 20 to 50,000 cases backlog, National Visa Center for Consular Processing. Now it's 500,000, 500,000. So expect drastic separation from your spouses, from your loved ones, from your work. Divorces happening, unemployment, people losing their jobs. I hate to be so negative, but this COVID-19 shutdown of the embassies and delays and closure has had catastrophic domino effect on everyone's worldwide lives, and it's terrible. So we'll see how they're going to fix this, but it's pretty terrible, pretty terrible. David asks, do I have to verify my work authorization on the I-9 if I don't have work authorization? Yeah, when you file I-9, the whole point is to verify work authorization. So if you don't have work authorization, you can't fill I-9 and you can't be employed. That's unauthorized employment. Ish asks, if I'm subject to 212E and my country has been removed from the skills list, does that mean I'm no longer subject to the 2-year rule? This is really nuanced. I can't say for certain, but I think you still are. there was actually at a consultation, somebody called about this, so might have been a viewer. This is something I have to review more. So just for those who aren't aware, if you're coming to the United States with what's called a J visa, cultural exchange program visa, sometimes you may have to go back to your home country and wait 2 years before you can get a green card or specific work visa categories like the H-1B or the L. This is called the J1 2-year home residency requirement. Now, every country is different, and the reason for getting stuck with this requirement is different. But for example, I had a client from Turkey. He came for an internship in architecture to the US for 2 weeks on a J1, went back. He got stuck with a 2-year home residency requirement because on the list the Department of State has says, for Turkey, if you're studying architecture in the United States, you got to go back for 2 years and spread the knowledge and all that kind of stuff. Well, we got a waiver of that. It was fine. Now, what if you were on the list, your country was on the list of people get subject to it, but then they changed it? Does it stay with you? I think it does, but I don't want you to go by that because it might be incorrect. So I don't really have a proper answer for you on that. I have to double check the rules. So definitely consult an immigration attorney. Love Singh asks, I can't believe that I filed October 2020. It's been 9 months and still no work permit. I understand, but not this many months. Yeah, all my October 2020 cases filed for adjustment, unemployment-based category cases from China, India, all these kind of places. Unfortunately, I have not got the work permits yet. It's pretty awful. Yeah, it is. June's done. 6 months there. October, November, December. 9 months. This is ridiculous that EADs are taking 8 or 9 months on average right now. But that's what I'm seeing. I'm sorry, love. Chapter asks, what is the average time for interview in New York after work permit? There is no average time, and receiving a work permit has nothing to do when your interview is actually going to happen. So it's possible to answer that question. And me to ask, hello, sir. I filed my EB-2 as a work-based, employment-based I-485. My fiance is still in India, and I cannot go to India for getting married because of travel ban. If I get an EAD, can I add my fiance later? Well, yeah. If you get if you're on an EB-2, you may already have an H-1B, and if the visa is still valid, you could travel on that without invalidating the I-485. But that's talk with your employers. Honestly, if you're going to file adjustment that's what you should have your own attorney. Don't rely on your employer's attorney. It's a bad idea, but it's additional cost with getting your lawyer, but it's the proper thing to do. But if you do get an advanced parole, you can travel with it. You may be subject to a ban because some of these bans don't make a special exception for advanced parole. I can't remember all the nuances of the India travel ban. But let's say you were able to travel to India and get married before your adjustment happens. You need to quickly file the proper paperwork I-24 for your spouse to get in on it too before your case is approved. I can't remember if the Indian travel ban has an exception for people on advanced parole or not, and I won't be able to check right now. So that's something you should definitely have a lawyer private on me to go over this. There's a lot going on there. Ish follows up, can I apply for a VAWA and green card from subject to 212E? VAWA, Advanced Women's Act, has a lot of exceptions to things. I'm not sure if it accepts 212E or not. I don't know. This is too case specific and requires some research, so I wouldn't be able to answer that here. Donya asks, my friend did his interview for K1 visa, but Turkey was embassy and his passport back and no your question is very badly worded, no explanation at all. His case has shown refused. What is it? I don't know. I need to talk with your friend and see what happened in the interview. It might just mean they need a way to do background checks, administrative processing, but this is too case specific. I can't answer that. Remya asks, thank you, John, for this love. Is it mandatory to remove the restrictions from the Social Security card after getting the green card? My Social Security says valid to work only on DHS authorization. Well, it's not mandatory, but you'd want to do that. First of all, notify the Social Security office that you are a green card holder so they could take that away and get a new card, because if you find a new job, they're not going to understand what this DHS authorization stuff means. So it's just going to make your life easier. Now, you don't have to. If you're self-employed, who cares? But it just makes your life smoother, and it's better to do it now, because maybe in a year or two you're going to deal with an issue that will require that off, and it just saves you time and stress how to deal with it then. Lassane asks, so I applied for citizenship, my green card expired in between, so I renewed it because I had to travel. But last week I received 2 biometric appointments. Why would they send me a bio app for the green card? Because both of them you paid for it, so it's better to do both. I mean, you probably don't have to, but at least do citizenship if that's the important part. That you paid for, they do that. It's not a good system. They don't coordinate to match and that kind of stuff well. All right, so Hashim says, I live in California. My I-130 is processing in Nebraska. Is that an issue? So Hashim, the place they're processing your I-130 has nothing to do where you're living. It depends on how much bandwidth that specific service center has. So if Nebraska got busy, they may send it to Texas. If Texas got busy, they might send it to California. So it's unrelated for an I-130 standalone if you're doing constant processing later where the location is. That's other factors that outside your control have nothing to do with what you're living. People worry about that a lot. I get emails and about this all the time. Is people, that's one thing. If people should just have lawyers and not stress out about stuff that's half the time I talk with people about case stuff. It's stuff that has no effect on their case and they worry about. Not to put too much pressure on you, Hashim, but that has nothing to do with anything that they're processing there. Hopefully it's done. Now, a quick note, I want to announce our winner for our raffle. Love. Thank you so much for posting. Take a screenshot of where your name is and show that it is your account. Email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com and we'll set up a free video consultation to see what's going on with your case. For those who are just tuning in, we provide free video consultations for raffle winners who people who like, subscribe, and write consultation while they're watching this live, not the recorded session. And I announced that while the show is live. So love won that. We have one more coming up in probably 7 minutes or so. So if you're interested, just write follow and write consultation, and my assistant will name a name for me to mention. And also download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide if you're interested in marriage or fiance case. Okay, thank you. So we'll get the next one. Joe asked, what is the entrepreneurship program and what countries qualify? So the entrepreneurship parole program is a very badly designed system, in my opinion, though very many are happy with it, that allows people who are, starting a company, a startup, who have investors coming in with a lot of money, who are, acclaimed investors, to be able to potentially stay for a couple of years to manage the company. I did a very detailed and long podcast on it. That was probably over an hour in my other YouTube channel, Immigration Lawyers Toolbox. But I just keep it as that. Very few people qualify for it. So if you're one of them, you'd probably hire an attorney, have the money to hire an attorney instead of asking your nut vets. But it's very few people would fall in this program. It's not something that anyone could just get into. Ram asks, my U.S. citizen petition for my green card. My U.S. citizen spouse probably petitioned for my green card. My expedited request for EAD was approved last week. Congrats. Biometrics is done. When can I expect my EAD? Will I get the green card directly? No, you're going to have to wait for the EAD to come in the mail in a week or two if the post office isn't losing it. And then eventually you have to do a green card interview. If it was a spousal case, you didn't specify who the petitioner was, just said U.S. citizen blank. But if you're married, for example, you have to do an in-person interview. After that, if it's approved, you get a green card. But for now, congrats, you got the EAD. Just wait another week or two. It'll probably come in the mail. Dilka asks, how easy to renew a green card who has a couple of DWI felony? Card expires very soon. Easy to apply is very easy. Just file a short form. But whether it's appropriate to apply, what issues exist, you need to consult an immigration attorney. It could be some serious issues that could put you in hot water. If you have felony DUI, that's you probably should have been put in removal proceedings already. Marlon asks, JQK, that's the best law firm. Thank you so much, Marlon. Again, I appreciate it. It was good talking with you. Alsane asks, I petitioned for my wife on June 3rd, 2021. And the notice says the processing time is 2 to 7 months. Processing times are worthless, what they say. You just have to wait. If I become a citizen, update my status, will the processing be faster or still the same? It's supposed to be a little faster, but sometimes they don't care and they just keep you in the green card holding line. So if you're going to become a citizen, notify them that you're a citizen, but it may not make a difference. It may not. It just depends on whatever they feel like doing. Mohammed follows up, what documents do I need for a marriage-based N-400? Is it the same documents for a green card application? Mohammed, this is goes into really case-specific stuff, but if you go to Form N-400, the instructions specify what you need for that. I don't want to get too much into the details, giving legal guidance, because it depends on your individual situation, but you just want to show you've been living with your spouse. Could be tax documents, lease agreements for the last 3 years, that kind of stuff. Duzar Bar asks, hi, what's if my wife is working without an EAD after we got married, K-1 visa, during I-485 pending, will the case be denied? So when you're married to a U.S. citizen and you work without authorization, it's forgiven. INA 245C especially designates that, immediate relatives, and you did a K-1 case, or you're a U.S. citizen for sure. If your spouse did work with authorization, it's fine. The problem would happen is if your spouse got a job somewhere and when she was filling out the paperwork, on the Form I-9 in particular, she wrote, I'm a U.S. citizen to get that job. If you did that, that's really serious, problematic. No way to fix that. There's deportation there. But other than that, no. So Ram asks, my U.S. citizen son petitioned for my green card. Okay, so you'll get the EAD because it's approved, and most likely they're not going to do an interview. Most of the time when a U.S. citizen child applies for a parent, they don't do interviews. So you just have to wait after that to get the green card. If you did not submit the medical checkup, you're going to get an RFE for that, request for evidence, asking you to send that. But it could go any of many ways. Dilk asks, I sent my application, but they are not processing forward. Dilk, I lost track of what your previous question was. Let me look into history. Dilk, I can't find your previous question, so I don't know what to tell you. I sent an application without processing forward. I'm not sure what that means, and I don't have reference to your previous question. My bad. Jitan asks, does USCI's mail get forwarded to new address? It can, but I would not rely on it. Sometimes they will not forward green cards, so that's a major issue. And sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, because it's the post office that would do it, and it's not reliable. So you definitely have to update your address with USCIS if you move. It's very dangerous not to do that. It could be very problematic for you. Dilk asks, how easy is it to renew green card? Green card expires soon. Dilk, that was a question. You sent the application but not processing forward. Yeah, that was a bad idea to send that without talking to immigration. I hope everything's fine, but if you have felonies and stuff, you shouldn't really send applications in without talking to professionals. So I don't know what to tell you. Go talk with the immigration attorney, see if you could try to fix it up, or just maybe it's not an issue. Maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know. I need to see the details of your case. Peace for All asks, what is the role of an immigration attorney during an asylum interview? I had a friend. He said the lawyer did not talk at all during the interview. Is that common? Well, the immigration attorney is very pivotal, very important, but it depends on the immigration attorney. It depends on the case. For example, first of all, I don't do asylum case anymore, but if the case was really well prepared, then the lawyer doesn't need to say anything because everything's going to go smooth. But sometimes you might go there and the officer really comes at you, wants to fight you, wants to question you. So then the attorney has to jump in there and do protection. Sometimes clients are saying some wild stuff, they forget stuff, so it's helping them through the process. So it's a pivotal role to have a good attorney. Now, there are attorneys that go there, don't train, don't prep, and don't do a good job in that stuff. So it depends on if you have a good attorney or not, and it depends on the case details. But they're there to kind of control the psychology, make sure the officers, where they are, they're witness to things that are going on, taking notes, make sure that the client is psychologically prepared, being there as support. If they see that client's not getting stuff right or forget something, helping out, maybe adding some documents that are needed, maybe putting the whole story together at the end as closing arguments. There's a lot that could happen. So it is important to have an immigration attorney at these kind of interviews, but it's a personal decision if you want to do that. Now, I want to announce our raffle winner, Ishrak. Thank you so much for your questions. Just send me an email at info@jqqlaw.com. The email should have an image of where you're watching that shows it is your screen name, so I know it's you. You don't schedule a consultation with someone else. Email me at info@jqqlaw.com, and we'll set that up and talk about it. Oh, you had that 212E question. Okay, I'll do my best to find an answer. I can't guarantee anything. It might take a couple hours to figure that one out. If I find it's fast enough, we'll talk about it. But we'll discuss it. It's 15 minutes. We'll see what happens. All right, Ishrak, thank you so much. And thank you everyone else who tuned in. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. If you want to schedule a private consultation, just email me directly at info@jqqlaw.com, and we'll talk then. Until then, God bless. Everyone be safe. We'll be back next week, 5 p.m. Pacific. Bye-bye.